Learning in school is not just, consuming content, but really preparing people for life.
What is your advice on what we should change in Bulgaria to improve the results?
Better alignment of resources with needs. We see still very large disparities between students from wealthy background and those from more disadvantaged backgrounds. And this is really about, attracting the most talented teachers into the most challenging classrooms and, getting really good principals for the toughest schools. I think as a teacher, be more conscious about student learning outcomes. The simple fact that you just tell students something doesn't mean that they have really learned it. So there needs to be a stronger attention to individual student learning, better monitoring of individual learning progress. Sometimes technology can help with this. And as a principal, I think you have a huge responsibility to help your teachers advance and grow in their careers. The changes in front of Bulgaria are huge in education, and I think teachers will need a lot of support from their principals. We've also seen that disciplinary climate still needs to improve. There is too much disruption. Often technology is distracting, students, smartphones, all of that. As students not listen carefully to their teachers. So I do think the overall learning environment, the classroom discipline also requires development for Bulgaria.
Should we then ban phones or find a way to use them in school?
I think there are two sides to the story. Technology should play a really important part to help students, make learning more adaptive, more interesting, more engaging, to give teachers better feedback on how different students learn differently. At the same time, the technology for leisure, the kind of uncontrolled, that's where I think the problems arise in Bulgaria. And I do think, sometimes a ban on smartphones can help, to ensure that students don't get distracted. I believe that there are too many young people in Bulgaria who have almost become addicted to their smartphones, and where they feel very anxious when they don't have their smartphones near them. And that really makes them worse on the PISA test, but also you can see that's associated with less satisfaction with their lives, with poorer social life, with more anxiety. So I do think schools should strengthen the use of technology for productive instruction by teachers, but should limit the use of technology just for leisure and outside the kind of instruction setting. Well, I think there are several positive findings here. First, I think teachers care about students. We do have quite positive student-teacher relationships. Students often say, my teacher knows who I am, my teacher cares who I want to become. That's a really important outcome because the quality of student-teacher relationships is a very important predictor for students' sense of belonging, for students' academic achievement. Bulgarian teachers do well on that. We also see that different from other countries, parental engagement has not deteriorated. We have seen many countries in which parents are less supportive, less engaged, and I do think Bulgaria is on the positive side where that decline is not so visible. Those countries come from quite low levels of performance, but they have shown significant improvements. In Colombia, they have taken great care of reducing social divides. I think that's something Bulgaria can learn from Colombia. Colombia was a highly fractured country, very sharp social divides, and also, was a country in civil war 2 decades ago. And I do think the education system has done well to build a stronger foundation, a stronger identity among Colombians to work together across those divides. And Peru also took on, schools in very rural environments. And again, that's a big challenge for Bulgaria, where you have many isolated schools, many small schools that are not yet developing good outcomes. So I think a lesson to be learned from Peru. Qatar is harder to emulate. Qatar had lots of money. I think they have made really very strong investments in education. That's probably, Bulgaria still invests relatively little in education, and so it's harder to emulate what Qatar has done. Many of the challenges that we will face tomorrow, we do not know today. We have to learn for jobs that have not been created. We have to learn to use technologies that have not been invented today. And therefore, to create an attitude of self-motivated learning, which is something Bulgarian students are not so good at. It's something really, really important to motivate people to learn beyond school, beyond university.